Hey guys, what's going on? So this video is going to be about depression, mental health, anxiety, my experiences that I've personally had. For those of you who haven't seen my videos yet, I have posted a video that I did on bullying and also on social anxiety. And I also did a video on sociopaths, which I will put links for those videos in the description box below. So in this video, I just want to get into some of my experiences. I know that a lot of you out there have had bad dealings with depression and anxiety, and just the worst feeling ever is to feel like you're not important and to feel like you're worthless. There's been a lot of times that I've felt like that, and just that, that I'm not good enough and that I'm a failure, and I had to deal with a lot of that when I was younger, when I was a teenager, and it's even plagued me till this day. I am happy to say that for the most part, I'm doing very well, and I just came out of a deep depression, which I've been experiencing for the last few months, and it had to do with a lot of issues with the family, just a lot of family politics and that sort of thing. And I had to deal with some toxic people in my family. I won't go too much into it, but I basically stepped in to help out a family member, and it just came with a great cost to my mental health, because I had to deal with not only a family member that was ungrateful, but it was very upsetting and frustrating to deal with this person, even though that I was trying to do a good thing and help this person out. And on top of that, I have to deal with other family members that are very selfish and have selfish agendas and are just toxic people. And I came to the realization that I really needed to get out of that situation. I tried to cut these people off, but because of people being very selfish, sort of dragging me through the mud, and I had to do whatever I could to cut the rope so I could get out of there. Because for my mental health, I need to move on and start living my life. And that's something that I've had a hard time doing because of a lot of barriers in my life. Some of the depression that I had to go through started when I was a teenager, just being very anxious, and a lot of it had to do with being bullied. I was bullied not only by my peers, but by a few family members as well. When you're being told that you're a piece of shit your whole life by these people, you start to believe it. And it really took me a long time to go through recovery, to teach myself that I was worth it and I was important, and to get that confidence back. And I went through some bouts of depression where I just felt like, that just the lowest of the low. Like, what's the point of getting up? Because, nothing's going to change, nothing's going to get better. It's the same old thing every day. And I think depression can really come from different avenues in life. Obviously, environmental factors, even biological factors, genetic factors, even physical ailments can cause depression, in my opinion. One thing you should look up is inflammation, because I think that inflammation also plays a part in depression. One of the reasons why I say that is because one thing I do every week, one thing I try to do every week, is I go on a fast for at least a day or two, and it really does help. Like, it clears out my whole system. I almost feel renewed and refreshed. You have to bear the burden by dealing with some bad cravings. Usually for me, the cravings come at nighttime. But after you get through that and you get to eat again, of course, you feel like just that you've been renewed and your system is cleaned out. And I think that fasting is very good for you. It's very important for your health. Obviously, you need to do it properly and get some professional advice if you do start a fast. So my mood really has been up and down. It's sort of this roller coaster ride. I have days where I feel really good and days I feel really low, and it's usually always been like that. It's always been up and down. Usually it will be in the center or higher if I have a lot of good things going for me, if I have a lot of good luck. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. I have a lot of bad luck. And dealing with also, abusive people or unwelcoming people, unfriendly people that get me down. So, and just, not being happy about some of my life goals, not being able to achieve them fast enough and that sort of thing. Because I am behind in the game, I am 30 years old, and there's a lot of things I haven't done yet because of these barriers. And it's really been a race to get there, and it really has forced me to step back and think, is age important? Is life more important? That how you live your life, and maybe it doesn't make a difference that you're experiencing these things at an older age. Of course, the assholes in life will make you feel like you should have done that a long time ago and that you're a loser, but those people are, in my opinion, just narrow-minded. So I can be a very anxious person too. Anxiety is something that I've battled my whole life. And usually people that I feel are not genuine or fake usually trigger my anxiety, and I think my anxiety has been heightened because of the negative experiences that I've had to go through. The funny thing is, though, is that even on occasion, there's been a couple times that I've run into a past bully of mine that is still, I assume, still lives in the neighborhood. I see him rarely at a grocery store that I go to, and I do notice that he recognizes me. I haven't said anything to him, but it's funny because I'm not afraid of him and I don't have any anxiety around him. I actually find it amusing when I see him because he really has no idea the contribution that he's made to basically ruining my life. And I've spent almost 10 years rebuilding my life, and I'm still doing it to this day. And I literally went from nothing, like just my life was in shambles, to living a somewhat decent life where I can be happy and do the things that I want to do. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible either. So I've attended a lot of workshops, and I did a lot of soul searching to be able to recover from that and to treat my anxiety. Of course, I've tried medications, I've tried different therapies and that sort of thing to help manage my anxiety and my mood. And I've put a lot of work into it, and that's something that you really have to do. And currently, when I was going through a bad depression the last few months, I did a fast, and it almost reset my mood. It almost put me in neutral. I did try some medication, and I had some bad reactions to it, and I decided to get off it because it wasn't really helping me. It was actually making me feel worse. And there are some controversies about medications, that medication, it works for some people, but for others it can make things worse. And you really have to be careful with it, because medication can be a very dangerous thing, especially if you're misusing it or maybe you don't need it. In my case, I felt like I didn't need it, because when I started taking it, it actually, although I felt really good, it was causing me a lot of problems too. It caused me a lot of side effects. And medication can alter your mood. It can make you feel worse. It can give you really high and low mood swings. So it really depends. And you really have to think it through. Don't just let your doctor or psychiatrist talk you into just giving you medication, because that's the easy thing to do. It's really something you have to think about and weigh the pros and cons and whether you really need the medication. Because some people, it will do wonders for. Others, it will make you feel worse. So you really need to research, and you really need to think about what your life will be like on this medication, and will it help you. So currently I'm taking a herb called St. John's wort, and it is a very mild mood stabilizer. and it also helps with anxiety and just feeling calmer, and not like, calm down from being angry sort of thing, but just feeling relaxed, like feeling chill, like you're just relaxing. That's what it makes you feel. It's not too strong, and it just, right now, it's just the right dose, and it really helps me out. You're supposed to take 3 pills a day. I only take 1. I take 1 in the morning because it also gives you a lot of energy. And I recommend not taking the pill at dinner time. Of course, it's up to you. Use your best judgment. But for me, I've tried it, and I can't sleep when I do that. So currently, I take 1 in the morning, and that's it. And it lasts me the whole day. Of course, the one thing with St. John's wort and a lot of medications is that it wears off over time. So the more you take it, the more it builds up in your system, the more likely it will become ineffective. So probably in a month, the St. John's wort will probably stop working, and I will more than likely have to take a second dose at lunchtime, which you can take morning, lunch, and dinner. It is recommended that you take it after a full meal. Please, I wouldn't recommend taking it on an empty stomach. I've tried that, and honestly, it makes you feel like you want to puke, and you feel really nauseated. I find that when I take it with a full meal, so I take it after breakfast. So one problem with mental health is stereotyping from other people and making you feel like you're a weirdo or a loser, and someone who's made to feel like they don't fit in. And that's something that unfortunately I've had to deal with. Even people that you would think would never act like that would make me feel like I didn't belong. All I can really say is that you need to look out for your well-being. These people don't care about you, and you have to keep that in mind. You want to please people, you want to be on their good side, you want to be a good friend, a good coworker, but if these people don't like you for petty reasons, why waste your time trying to befriend them or to gain their approval when you're never going to get it? People look at life like it belongs in a box, and they have a certain amount of standards, and if you don't meet those standards, then you're a piece of shit. You need to look out for what's best for you, and if you're not happy where you're at, you don't have to waste your time being there, whether you're at a workplace or at school. Life's too short to be pushed around or dragged along the ground by people that are selfish and are bullies and don't care about you. You deserve to live a happy life and to be around people that are positive and support you. Even if you have to bide your time while you're at a workplace or at school, at least you're making plans to move somewhere else where you think you could fit in. When I left my previous job, I left because I was burnt out and that I was dealing with poor mental health. And a lot of that had to do with being burnt out. And honestly, when I came out of school, I was burnt out, and I jumped into the field because I got a job offer. And who's going to turn down their first job offer in the field? And I took it, and it was a lot to deal with. And I was basically running on fumes by the time almost a year was up, and I had nothing left. I had no choice but to leave because mentally and physically I was done. I couldn't get out of bed. I was losing my passion for my job, and that wasn't good. That was something that I hated, that I had to go through. And when I brought this issue up with my previous employer, I was greeted with a very cold and in my opinion, disrespectful way, where I was treated like I was expendable and that I should just disappear. And honestly, honestly, this person that I spoke to about, in my opinion, already set me up for failure anyways. Ultimately, I just couldn't stay. I had to leave because I was burnt out and I didn't have any support. Socially, I don't think I was well liked. I think I was an outcast. And I felt like that. I felt like I was the person wasting people's time. And whenever I tried to start conversations with people, I would get shut down. Or I would get one-word answers. So that was just one of the major tipping points leading into my depression. You really have to honestly step back and focus on your health, because I spent the longest time worrying about what other people thought, and in the meantime I was losing track of my health and where I was going in life. And next thing I know, my life starts crumbling because I haven't been looking after my own health. So anyways guys, that's my story. I wish all of you the best. I really hope that those of you that are dealing with mental health issues, depression, anxiety, etc., will get better. You can live a happy life. You just need to find those support services, find those positive and supportive people in your life. What are your stories? Post in the comments below or email me. If you're suffering out there, please talk to a counselor. Counselors can do a world of good. Don't discredit them. They can really help. And don't worry about stereotyping and people giving you a hard time. Look out for you. Do what's best for your health. And if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you keep it locked on the Andrew K channel.